Hey peoples, this is another movie review of the movie After. As always, I want to say thank you for listening, that really means a lot to me. And on to the review. So After is a movie about a girl named Tessa who is going off to college. And when she goes to college, she meets a mysterious guy named Hardin. And they fall in love, and that's our movie. So I have maybe two positives about this movie. One positive is a little more targeted to me, is that this was filmed in Atlanta, and that was pretty cool to see the Atlanta sites in this movie. Also, the school that she goes to is Emory. I don't believe they say it in the movie, but I was actually just there maybe a week ago walking around the same campus. And while walking around the campus, I did see how young the college students looked, and I forgot how young they actually are. And I will say a lot of the students, especially ones in the background, do look young enough to be in college, versus where we see in a lot of movies where mostly everyone in college looks like they're 30 and no one's going when they're in their 20s. But that's all my positives. If I went down all of my negatives, this review would maybe be about 30 to 40 minutes long. So I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. So if this movie is meant to show how dumb a girl can be when she just blindly falls in love with a guy and neglects the rest of her life, then this movie executes it perfectly. That doesn't mean I enjoyed watching it, it just executes it perfectly. Now the main issue in this movie is that it's kind of boring and you really don't care about the actual relationship because they never really build the relationship. When our main character Tessa comes to the school, she already has a boyfriend. Their relationship seems kind of boring. Even when he drops her off at school, their kiss goodbye is lackluster. Even when they text, you don't see a bunch of emojis or lovey-dovey stuff. The movie makes their relationship so dull and boring, and I guess they're trying to use that as validation for her to be okay to be interested in another guy. Which of course, you can be interested in other people. But the problem is she doesn't break up with her boyfriend, and actually she doesn't mention him for a very long time. After the second time she comes in contact with Hardin, she seems so infatuated by him and seems like she wants to kiss him, and she hesitates, and you would think that's because of her boyfriend, but she never says, "Oh, stop it, I have a boyfriend." She seems as if she's forgotten him completely, and she's fine with just starting this new relationship with this new guy. So then when she tells him that she has a boyfriend, they still continue on, and in a scene or two, now they kiss and now they're a thing. She never tells her boyfriend, the main character never shows remorse, so why are we rooting for this character? It would be different if her boyfriend was horrible, like he beat her, or he cursed her out, or he was rude, or he's just not fun to be around. The movie just paints him as a boring person, but also our main character is kind of boring as well. So they fabricate this love between our two main leads and push them together, even though it doesn't naturally take place. What makes you relate or connect to a relationship in a movie is watching the couples bond or have great conversations or go through experiences. The movie instead inserts a line by Hardin that says, "Oh, I don't think talking about our past is going to let me get to know you. Just being in the moment lets me get to know you." It seems to be a throwaway line in order to allow the writers not to write any type of dialogue for these characters so we can get to know them and so they can get to know each other. We don't know what they have in common other than they both read books. That's pretty much it. They have about 2 or 3 scenes early in the movie before they get together, kind of slightly arguing about their opinion of a book. But other than that, that's all we get. When they actually become somewhat of a couple, we get none of that bonding. We just get to see a montage of them hanging out, and apparently they just fell in love, even though our main lead Hardin seems very uninteresting. The guy is bland and boring, and you do not care about him. He's not charming, he's not funny, there's nothing that attracts you to him. And I don't want to bash on the actor, but his acting was probably the worst in the movie, and it's because his face is so wooden about 90% of the movie. He seems to show no emotion or personality in his face, and I guess they maybe told him to keep a straight face in order to keep that mysterious aspect about him, but it becomes a negative in the movie. It's like watching the live action Beauty and the Beast with just a straight faced beast without any emotions or character in his face. So you're on this boring relationship journey with them and you're just watching stuff take place. You're not invested, you don't care, and so it makes the movie very dull and boring. You do have revelations of some characters that pop up later in the movie that give it some oomph to try to make some tension happen, but there is no resolution to these situations. Near the end of the movie, it kind of wraps up really quickly and it just ends. And that's it. Like I said in the beginning, if this movie is meant to show a dumb girl falling in love with a damaged, bland guy, then this does it perfectly. Now, when I say our main character is dumb, I don't mean that she's dumb for falling in love with a guy. It's just that the movie makes her dumb. For instance, near the beginning of the movie, she sees Hardin cuddled up with a girl, and then the girl disappears for a long time and then pops up later as some type of antagonist. Like I said, if I went through all my negatives, this review would be too long, but basically, the story is predictable, the characters don't make sense, some of the things they say don't make sense. It seems like sometimes the movie will present a scene that will contradict to the previous scene that we just saw, so that doesn't make sense, and their relationship is too bland and too stale to relate to. But anyway, people, I do not suggest watching this. This is not a fun movie, and I've seen countless and thousands of other teen romances that are way better than this one. And as much flack as movies like Twilight get, it looks like Shakespeare compared to this. And that's all I got to say. Thank you as always for listening. Please do me a favor, like, thumbs up, subscribe, retweet, comment, follow, all those things. I really appreciate it. Please continue to have a great day. God bless. I'll talk to you tomorrow.